Oh, guess what? Summer is almost here, and we all know what that means, right? Means no homeschool planning, no class time, just homeschool moms lounging around the pool and eating bonbons, right? But wait a minute, where is mom? Oh yeah, summer is when homeschool moms try to catch up on all those chores they never have time for during the school year. Hey, no matter what your summer looks like, this is a great time for you, homeschool mom. Yes, you, to catch up on reading all those fabulous how-to homeschool books, right? The books that could really help you either find a new approach to something or maybe just solidify things that you're already doing with some new ideas, some fresh outlooks, right? So today, that's right, I'm going to help you with this. I am going to share with you my must-read homeschool summer mom reading list. These are the books that seriously I would stash in my suitcase if I was going to be stranded on a desert island for a while and I needed to read about homeschooling. These would be the ones that I use. So let's get started. Let's get right into those must-read books from that summer reading list. So the books I'm going to share with you today really provide a solid foundation for 3 different approaches. Because let's face it, if you're going to be doing summer reading, you want to know as much as you can in the time you have allotted to do reading, right? Making efficient use. So the first approach that I'm going to give you some book suggestions on would be the practical approach. That's kind of what I call it. It's a hands-on, this is how you do it, not a lot of theory behind it, more like these are just great suggestions, including activities, grade level expectations, that sort of thing. And the queen of this kind of approach is Ruth B Chick. Yes. These are her books for grades kindergarten through 3rd grade. That's where she places them. There are 3 here, an easy start in arithmetic, a home start in reading, and a strong start in language. These books are also bundled into a single volume, which is called the 3 R's for the old reading, writing, and arithmetic model, right? But I'm just going to give you a little sample out of the arithmetic book to kind of give you a feel for what she's presenting here and how she's doing it. She's got, in this arithmetic book, she kind of divides it into very straightforward chapters. Arithmetic can be easy for your child, modes of thinking, the child's early years, and then she gets into 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade, and ties it all together then with ways to use the hundreds chart, which by the way is super helpful. She puts one on the back of the book. But let's take a look at the 1st grade, her 1st grade chapter. She starts out giving you 1st grade knowledge and skills, things that a 1st grader would be expected to learn during 1st grade about math. But then she goes into the really golden part, which is the teaching suggestions. And she doesn't just give you practical teaching suggestions. She fleshes it out with actual activity ideas. Things like you would use domino type games for matching and recognizing groups. Or how about jacks for counting and recognizing groups? Maybe you could use building blocks like Legos for size, pattern, comparison, planning, and counting skills. Or how about, I love this one, collect rocks, stamps, and other things for sorting, comparing, and classifying. Don't think of those things as math skills, but they really are. So I'm just saying, these 3 little books are fabulous if you have young children. Now, Ruth B Chick does not forget you if you have older children. This is her book. She actually has this for grades 4 through 8. It's entitled You Can Teach Your Child Successfully. I have seen this book used with great success also for older students in the high school years. If there's an area that they were struggling in, maybe you just need to do some reinforcement, works very, very well. Now this book, she's got it divided again into sections and then subchapters in between that. Basically, she's got part 1, which is about reading skills. And then part 2 is writing. Part 3 is arithmetic. And part 4, she's going beyond the 3 R's into things like history and social studies, science and health, things like that. So I'm going to give you just a little tiny tidbit out of this book, a sample, to kind of give you a feel for the kinds of things she's going to present. This is in her chapter on usage and grammar. She says, if you feel insecure about teaching grammar with the writing, it may help to know that about 95% of other people do too. Probably the main reason people feel this way is the nature of grammar itself. The system leaks. It is not exact. And most people blame themselves rather than the system. People who spend all their time with language, such as professional writers, constantly find better ways to use language. So if you don't know everything yet, that is only to be expected. You certainly know more than your children. And as you continue teaching them, you will gain as well as they. One of the rewards of teaching is the chance to review your own knowledge, to consolidate it and extend it. Adult learning on a higher level proceeds alongside the children's learning. Wow, what a great, just common sense way to look at teaching grammar. And she also points out, and I love this, that teaching grammar before your child reads fluently is kind of counterproductive. Just like teaching spelling is the same problem. But in any case, these are just great books. Practical approach, very easy to use. Now, the next approach I've got books for you on would be the Charlotte Mason method. Charlotte Mason is super popular. I used kind of an adapted form of it in my homeschool years. But a lot of people have misconceptions about Charlotte Mason, or only know just like one little part, like a lot of people may have heard about, oh, she uses narration. Okay, they don't really understand her whole approach. Now, when I talk about Charlotte Mason, I strongly recommend, if you can get your hands on her original 6-volume home education series, to read them. Nothing better than reading someone's original writings. However, those books are out of print. They are hard to come by. I don't believe that there are that many printed in the first place, at least in recent times. And you're just going to have to find them used, and that's a hit or miss thing. So I've got some suggestions for you to kind of fill in the gap. If you can't get a hold of Charlotte Mason's original books, these will help you. First one is A Charlotte Mason Companion by Karen Andriola. She subtitles this Personal Reflections on the Gentle Art of Learning. Seriously, reading this book because it's like taking this lovely walk through a fragrant garden and then sitting down with a cup of relaxing tea. She's just lovely. Karen Andriola, the way she writes, the things she says, it's delightful. She's got, among other things in this book, she's got a lot of topics. One of her topics that she covers very well is narration, the art of knowing. And basically, she's saying here, right in this chapter, I'll just give you a little sample. She says, we are living in an information age. Today's children are exposed to too much information, but they come away with little knowledge. Why? First, most schools use books that are purely factual. Such books can actually be an obstacle to acquiring knowledge because they are not the kind of books children naturally take to or can narrate from. Children need books written in literary language to narrate from. Secondly, children are persons, not parrots. Workbooks obligate children to parrot back information. Knowledge is not attained through these means because the child really hasn't narrated, that is, hasn't thought through the ideas and made them his own. Isn't that lovely? And there's a bonus in this. At the end of every chapter, she gives you this little business here, which is questions for personal reflection or support group discussion. And she just walks you through some questions to remind you what the main ideas, the main points were that she discussed. But then she gives you this lovely little area for your own personal reflections. And then she'll always include a quote from some great piece of literature that would apply to and illustrate what she's talking about. Oh my gosh, got to tell you though, this book for me, I had so many notes. I never wrote in those sections. I just filled a couple notebooks. I did. But this book is fabulous if you have very young children, or even better, if you're just starting homeschooling and you have young children. Great way to begin. Now, for those of you that have older children and you're still interested in knowing about Charlotte Mason, Catherine Levison has you covered in her books. There are two here. The first is A Charlotte Mason Education, a homeschooling how-to manual, and the second is just more Charlotte Mason education. These two books are slightly different. The first book really goes through the how to teach Charlotte Mason's way. Her chapter headings are things like narration, literature, poetry, composition, handwriting, spelling, foreign language, and so on and so on. Little short chapters just giving you kind of an overview of how Charlotte Mason would teach that subject. This one, More Charlotte Mason Education, is slightly different. Among other things, this has a really nice big section on Charlotte Mason in the high school years. Excellent information in there. She also gives you things like curriculum choosing, how short lessons are applied, book selection, a sample term, that's a great one, segment planning. In other words, semesters, trimesters, quarters. She just goes through all of that. And she does it in just a wonderful, thorough way. So now when you get to the back of these books, this is where you're going to find a real treasure. We're just going to look in the back of More Charlotte Mason Education, but pretty much the same thing is in both. This is where the gold mine is. Now I'm going to see if I find the page. There we go. Back here in the appendix, she has Charlotte Mason's weekly schedules, the schedules that she used with children in her practical school that was attached to her teacher school. She has got things lined out by the time, the subject itself, what day she would teach that on. It's like all the way through 9th grade she's got this. And then Catherine Levison throws in, huge bonus, her own personal weekly schedule for her homeschool. This is her schedule in 1996, and then this one more extended in 1997. Wow, talk about helpful. This is a concrete way to plug Charlotte Mason into your homeschool routine. Can't say enough about that. Now, the last one I have for you is applies to the modern Trivium approach. This is really a great approach. It's like classical homeschooling. This is kind of where I centered in my homeschool years. But this book is really the guide of all guides. This is by Harvey and Lori Bluedorn. It is Teaching the Trivium. They go through it all in this book. As you see, it's a serious book. It's not a skinny little read. But this thing just has everything in it. They divided the book into two parts. The part one has things in it like what is the trivium, teaching languages, teaching logic, teaching rhetoric, principles for the study of literature, and one of my favorites, which would be different methods and approaches to homeschooling in the light of the trivium. This is a great chapter because this one takes any other homeschooling method and kind of applies the Trivium model over the top of it. It's like an overlay that everything that you're doing filters through. Great, great information there. And really, again, just present it in such a way that you can really grasp it and then apply it in your homeschool. But that's not the best part. Part two, the practical, is what you're buying this book for. So this is where the rubber meets the road here in this section, the practical trivium. They have sections for all the ages. This one happens to be the early knowledge level. 10 things to do before the age of 10. It's like, this is so amazing because they talk through, among other things, a suggestive course of study for each one of these levels. And like in this one, they're going through reading and writing, phonics. Then they have, oh yeah, they throw these in, these little Q&As that they'll throw in all through these sections. It's just somebody asking a question and them answering it. They're talking here about the English language notebook and so on, copy work. And then really great when they get to the back of this, which I should have bookmarked it. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah, there it is. When you get to the back of this is so cool. They actually have it listed out in a way that you can just put a bookmark in and go, oh yeah, that's what we could be doing before the age of 10. And then they give you a suggested daily schedule. This one, for families with children all under the age of 10. Is that cool or what? And they just repeat this continuously all the way through the high school years. They even have a chapter back here, the finishing level, ages 19 and onward. Wow, this is great stuff. This is, like I said, why you bought this book, which for that back section, although obviously the front part is very valuable because it just gives you kind of that overview. So I mentioned earlier that I have a bonus book to throw in here. I'm not actually going to review it because I am going to be making a video in the future that is all about this book and how to apply it to the high school years, because that's what this book is about. High school and how to make that work in your homeschool. This book right here by Barb Shelton. It is Senior High, a home designed formula, right? This book has everything in it, literally, and it's practical. I mean, look at all these tabs. See all these tabs in here? These tabs are from back when I had kids in high school. That's how much I use this book. I constantly referred to it. I'd say I'm not going to review it today, but I just wanted to kind of throw it out there and get it into your minds. If you have a high schooler and you're looking for something to read this summer, ooh, might be a great place to start. And that about wraps it up for today. So the final thought that I want to leave you with is basically the more you know, the more you can fine tune your homeschooling approach. The more you are empowered personally, you can make the best choices for your homeschool, right? And I'm going to say something just a teeny bit counterproductive here, but if you are relying primarily on videos like this one and blog posts, you are kind of missing out. You're missing the whole boat, if you will, because you're only getting little snippets and pieces of what you need to know. I fully encourage you, go out and get some great homeschooling books on your shelf and then refer to them. Use them as your constant daily helpers. You know, you can write in them and bookmark them and all of that stuff, and let them be your guide and your companion in this homeschool journey. So thanks for watching this week. If you liked this video, if you enjoyed it, then give it a like, write a thumbs up, and subscribe down below, because I'm currently on a mission to convince YouTube that my videos have value and should actually show up in search results. Aha! Join me here next Wednesday for my next video, which will be something I pull out of the Homeschool Teaching Toolbox. That one will be teaching science for grades 6 through 8. I already did a video on teaching science in the elementary years, pretty much 5th grade and under. So now we're going to tackle that next level. And these are the courses that are really going to set your child up for success in science in the high school years. And now I'm going to leave you with my very last thought, and that is to remember the 3 key strategies that we have here at Homeschool University. The first is to be practical. Use your common sense. That's why God gave it to you. The next is to be purposeful. Pray with and for your children and for your homeschool. And the last one is be positive. You can do this, homeschool mom. Yeah, because you are amazing.
Hey now, take a step outside and seize the day.